Today we're going to compare the Marshall with a Harry Joyce 50 watt. So 50 watt versus 50 watt, and we'll see which one sounds better. I want to know what the Harry Joyce sounds like, but more importantly, this video and its purpose is to show you what the Marshall sounds like and the Harry Joyce sounds like. So a little bit about the Marshall. This is all original, as I said before. It was very hard to find in its condition. As the ARS caps as opposed to the LCR, but they are very similar, and as opposed to that, that's the only thing that's not original in this amplifier. You have the two EL34s in the power amp section, Marshall branded Teslas, and three 12AX7s in the preamp section. Those are also Marshall branded. So you got Marshall branded tubes inside of a 1974 Marshall. That's pretty cool. Inside the Harry Joyce amp, you have two groove tubes and four as opposed to three 12AX7s in the preamp section, and you got Harry Joyce tubes in the preamp section too. So you got Marshall branded tubes in a Marshall, and Harry Joyce branded tubes in a Harry Joyce amp. Marshall has been around for so long that there's a reason that people play them. They're just beasts of an amp. We'll see how it compares to the Harry Joyce. This is my personal amp, the Marshall, so I'm lucky enough to play the Harry Joyce for you today. I managed to get my hands on one through some of the Harry Joyce guys. I'm playing through a Bernie SG, all stock, going straight in to the amp, and let's hear what it sounds like. Yeah, sounds pretty good. You know, there's a reason Marshall's been around for so long, and it's because it sounds just like that. This happens to be a vintage head, but the cabinet is, it's not vintage. It's from like 2010 or something. It's 4x12, 8 ohm cabinet, pretty standard. The head's running on 8 ohms. You got 4 Celestion Rocket 50s in there. Not the best Celestions ever. I just happened to get this cabinet through my old Marshall head. But it sounds pretty good, you know. Not the best Celestion, like I said, but it works for me. Half stack, and let's adjust the volume here a little bit. Now the way this works is that my guitar is plugging into the first channel here, volume 1, and the high impedance, and then I'm jumping from the out of the high channel into the normal channel. Currently I have the volume at volume 2 at 0 and volume 1 about half at 12. This amp doesn't go to 11.
If you can see, the numbers all go to 11.
But we can try. So I'm going to just push volume 2 a little bit so you can hear the difference. Volume 1 is like more bright, and it gives you that bright type of gain, and volume 2 has the more normal or dark sounding gain, and they're both very beautiful, but they sound completely different. And adjusting these volume knobs kind of gives you different types of saturation, different types of gain structure. And the EQ is really just, it just kind of plays with it. It's not really a huge difference in the sound, but you kind of got presence on 2, bass on 0, middle on about 7, treble all the way up, and volume at around 5 or 12 o'clock. Let's hear what this sounds like. Let's hear that with the neck pickup. Alright, so now I'm going to push it a little bit. I want to get more presence. Let's push volume 1. And just an important note for someone who's never had a non-master volume head, which is 99% of people nowadays. Past like half or 5, it doesn't really get louder. It just gets more distorted. So you're really just pushing the power amp section harder, and you're just getting the distortion mainly from the power amp section, which is reverse. Usually in today's modern amplifiers, you get a lot of your gain from the preamp section. So we're just going to push volumes a little bit here. Just put volume 1 at about 7.5 and volume 2 at about 3. See what this sounds like. All right, that's enough of that. Okay, so now we have the Harry Joyce head. As you can see, the input is reversed. On the Marshall, the high impedance is on the top, and the Harry Joyce is on the bottom. So, yeah, nothing weird there. As you can see again, I'm still plugged straight into the head. Harry Joyce, you got ceramic power tube sockets. Also, you got studio Burns potentiometers, which feel really nice. It's very smooth. And I could definitely tell. I just plugged this in, and just playing those few little chords, it sounds great. Let's hear what it sounds like. Let's roll back the volume a little bit. Let's see how we get a little clean. Cool. Not much of a clean player. Let's get everything back to 12. I got the master volume on about half here because just based on the sheer volume alone, this master volume on 12 is about the same volume as the Marshall. So we're going to try to keep things around the same volume. A little bit about this cabinet. It's the Harry Joyce cabinet. It's got 4 sugar cone speakers. And they have a reputation for never blowing. So you can pretty much blast these as loud as you want, and according to the reputation, they should not blow. And also I read online that these speakers don't have cone cry, which is cool because a lot of the time with the Celestion, and especially the Rockets, the Rocket 50s, you'll play like a note like, especially if you're using the back pickup, you like get a lot of those low-end rumbly like frequencies that don't really belong in that note. Like. But with this sugar cone, I don't really hear any cone cry. It's actually pretty incredible. It's clear as day. on the back pickup. This is the front pickup. Back. Man, these are really nice speakers, man. Also, on the side here, there's a phase switcher, but we won't really mess with that, but it's a nice feature to have when you're playing it with a band. And I'm going to try to get the meanest tone I can out of this thing, so bear with me for a second. You see, something that's blowing my mind right now is that I'm pushing the volume here and it's past 75% and I'm not getting this like compressed sound. It continues to get louder and gainier without the compression. So I'm pushing the gain, but there's no loss of dynamics, which is pretty crazy. And I've never heard an amp do this before in my whole life. Got the gain on full here. Let's push the master a little bit. Let's play some power chords.